Welcome to Homestead Reptile, and today we're going to talk about cryptosporidium, the silent killer. So there are two forms of cryptosporidium. There is the snake form and the lizard form. So the lizard form is called varanus. The snake is serpentis. Now, they're both different types of cryptosporidium, and they affect both species. So you can have a lizard with serpentis, and you can have a snake with varanus. I guess you could technically have a species, you could have a lizard that has both all at once. So crypto, how does it basically spread? So it spreads through feces, so the oral fecal route. So it spreads that way. So you have a snake and it poops, and another snake comes through. That one snake that had a poop has crypto. The other snake flicks its tongue, gets some of the oocysts into its mouth through its digestive system. Then the oocysts erupt, attacking the intestinal lining of your animal and causing it to slowly wither away and die. So some symptoms of cryptosporidium are weight loss, loss of appetite, diarrhea, regurgitation, lethargy and weakness, dehydration, swelling in the stomach or lower intestines, undigested food, and the feces. So you can also have asymptomatic carriers. These animals can live out a completely relatively normal life, not showing any of these symptoms, and just spread to other animals. So there are certain species of reptiles that are more commonly seen with crypto. So a great example are leopard geckos. It's called stick-tail disease with leopard geckos. So how can you cure crypto? There's no real cure, sadly, for crypto. What you can do to prevent crypto from coming into your reptile collection, if you're a breeder or pet keeper, is testing for cryptosporidium. So this right here, this little tube, this is a crypto test. Well, it's my sampler. It's not the actual test. So I would open this little tube up, and let's say there was some poop somewhere, and I take the little end of the swab and I roll it around the poop. So you don't want just one poop. You want at least 3 to 4 poops on the swab, taken at different times, because generally your animal doesn't poop just 4 separate turds in one day. They're reptiles. It's generally a poop here, a poop there. You want to keep it as fresh as possible, so I just suggest putting it in the fridge. Now, they can stay in the fridge for a decent period of time, not too long. But honestly, I've heard of people keeping their tests in their fridge for like up to 2 weeks, and they still got good test results. And again, these tests are a lot more sensitive than they used to be in the past. It's a DNA test, an RNA test, so it's very accurate and it's very, very quick. So I recently did a test at this particular lab. I'm going to show you my results. I'm negative, so that is good. But again, it's pretty simple and it's not super expensive. So it's $25 per test, and this test combines the serpentis and the varanus variety of cryptosporidium. So it's an all-in-one test. And again, it was $25 plus the shipping. The shipping for me is going to be different for the shipping for you. So it was like, I think it was like 19 something shipping. I did the 2-day shipping. I got there, I paid for it, got the results. It was pretty quick. So how do you sanitize your enclosures if you have a cryptosporidium outbreak? So it's really going to depend on the type of enclosure you have. So these are the harsher routes. You can use a high concentrate ammonia. This isn't what you're going to get from your regular store, and you need to let this solution soak into this enclosure for at least 18 hours. Or you can do a high percentage hydrogen peroxide. 6% is lethal to cryptosporidium after 20 minutes at room temperature. So you can get this high percentage hydrogen peroxide from actually Amazon. You can find it there all day long. Buy that, get a spray bottle, and just squirt your stuff down with it. Now, you want to do this outside. These are chemicals that are somewhat dangerous. They are really bad to breathe in. They're really bad, really bad for your lungs. It is somewhat dangerous. Now, the safest method for you, average person, to neutralize cryptosporidium is heat and moisture. So at 158 degrees Fahrenheit, moist heat will neutralize cryptosporidium oocysts at 20 minutes. At 176 degrees Fahrenheit, it will inactivate it after 2 minutes. So what I suggest is a dishwasher, depending on how large that enclosure is. If they're quarantine bins, which I always suggest you use smallish quarantine bins, just because it's not going to be super comfortable for that particular species, but it's better to toss a bin out, keep that animal super well tracked to make sure it's not diseased before it enters your enclosure. So throwing it in your dishwasher. So your dishwasher, when it's first starting its cycle, it goes to 130, 140 degrees. That's for the first little part of the cycle. Remember, the dishwashers have 3 cycles. Then when it heats up, during the rinse cycle, it gets up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the cooking point. Crypto is dead at that point. Then, during the rinsing cycle, it gets up to 110 to 170. And your average dishwasher washes dishes for about 150 to 2 hours. So it's at that point, it doesn't matter. It's dead. Crypto is dead at that point. Another great suggestion I also use this method as well for like bigger enclosures, getting a steamer. So getting a steam cleaner, they're little handheld steam mops, or wand things, that can heat the water up to 2,500 watts is amazing. It gets the water up to 2,000, not 2,000, that would be insane. It gets the water up to 221 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 minutes, pop it in there, put the clicker on, and just let it steam the living hell out of it. It is inactivated. It is dead. So the heat moisture method is the best method I find if you're dealing with it. And also just to clean things in general, not just cryptosporidium. So just like it kills everything. You need to keep things sanitized. You want to clean things with less chemicals. Go with the heat method. It's amazing. If this was interesting, like and subscribe. I'm going to leave all this information links in the comments. I just feel that not a lot of people know about cryptosporidium. I feel that not a lot of people know where to actually get the testing and don't get ripped off at the vets. Like and subscribe and leave a comment.